Look at you. You woke up at 9 a.m. today. You haven't seen the sun like a Norwegian winter. You drink more prime energy than water. You barely know what yoga is. You drank coffee before you got out of bed. And the last time you had cold exposure was when your mum turned off the hot water system because she said, you can't be in there for that long. You're wasting water. Do you know how crazy the bills are at the moment? You need to move out and get a job or start a business and do something with your life, you little... This is Andrew Huberman's morning routine template. It's free. Now, before you run off and download this free template, just watch the video. You will ruin my average watch time. Do you know how hard I work to improve my watch time? But all of you click on the video and then instantly go and download it. And yes, I'm seeing your downloads. I know what you're doing. I know your little scheme, okay? Just stay here. I know your impatient, distracted, dopamine-addicted brain can't handle this. So let's turn this, instead of an explanation video, into a quick little tutorial video on how to use this page, okay? Here we have Andrew Huberman's morning routine. Personally, I'm not Andrew Huberman, personally. So I don't do this, but I should.
And you're sleepy, that means you still have a buildup of adenosine in your system. Let's say you immediately reach for caffeine. You suppress the action of that adenosine and you will be more alert. And guess what happens? Then the caffeine wears off and the adenosine binds to the receptors with greater affinity and you have your afternoon crash.
What I thought was bro science about your adenosine system not being active for the first 90 minutes, and if you're going to pump caffeine onto that, you're not really actually acting on that. Your adrenal system is the one that you need to be looking at, optimal euhydration, all that sort of stuff.
I've already had a coffee. So don't judge me.
My cold showers, while they're definitely not fun during, I do feel energized afterwards, and it feels like it fuels the rest of my day.
Increases brown fat thermogenesis, thereby metabolism, thereby comfort being, in cold, etc. Clearly there's a resilience effect. Clearly there's a dopamine increasing effect.
I haven't had a cold shower. I used to. Actually, I did a month where I did cold showers every day. That was good. And then I stopped because it's cold.
The practice that for me has really helped reduce stress and allowed me to fall asleep more easily and control my state of mind late in the evening is this practice that some people call yoga nidra.
I've done yoga once.
That's just the best way. That cold glass of water.
This drink consists of lemon juice and some salt.
I have not had water yet.
Try and get outside, ideally within the first 5 minutes of waking. I make a beeline for sunlight. So getting outside for a 10-minute walk or a 15-minute walk is absolutely vital to mental and physical health.
I haven't seen the sun yet either, to be honest.
I'm waking up these days around 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. I'm trying to go to sleep by about 10:30 p.m.
And I definitely didn't wake up at 6 today. Let me walk through how this all works. It's actually really easy. So let me just delete one of these. Here we go. Delete. If you hit plus, it actually automatically creates all of this. So you don't have to worry about writing any of this down every single morning. It's quite easy. One thing I haven't done is included a statistic at the top here. So a lot of templates similar to this with habits or routines or whatever it is will have like a number saying like, oh, you've done 15% of mornings, you woke up at 5 a.m. or whatever it is. I don't like that system because I just don't like seeing those numbers get smaller and smaller. I find it very disheartening. Personally, I don't think that is super helpful, seeing numbers like that. I guess if it's 100% all the time, but the second you miss one and you go down to 90, it's very difficult to bring it back up. I've left out the percentages or graphs or anything like that, and it's just a very simple routine like this. I'll just show you how to change or edit this as well. So what you'll do is up here, click on these 3 dots, then you'll go to properties. Here you can see all of them. So you can see date here has, we actually don't need it here because we can see the date here. So I'll just turn off that eyeball here. So all you do is press the eyeball to show if you want it to show in this view. Say if you want to change one of these because you don't want to do it for whatever reason, you think, oh, I live in Norway, I don't want to do cold showers. You can click on there and then you can edit this to whatever you want, and then that will update on all of them. Or if you want to delete it because there's too many things here in the morning to do, you can just click on it and then hit delete property. Also, if you want to rearrange the order, all you do is click on these 6 dots and then you can move them in this way. But this is Andrew Huberman's morning routine.
And that's what I do each morning.
Andrew Huberman wakes up at 6 a.m. I can tell you it's really worth it. For a few months, I woke up at 5 a.m. and those months I was crazy productive. Not only do you get more hours in the day, obviously, because you're waking up earlier, it's much easier to focus in that time because everyone else is pretty much asleep. So that's actually really useful because no one is distracting you, emailing you, slacking you, whatever it is. Like, you're not actually having to communicate, so you can focus on deep work. If you want to know what deep work is, watch my Cal Newport video.
Had your light in the eyes. What have you been doing between that and the yerba mate 90 minutes?
I do everything I can to not do email, not do social media, and to take care of a few critical tasks.
So waking up early is well worth it. And if you wake up right now, say 9 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever it is, I highly recommend trying 6 a.m. wake-ups. Super, super worth it. Then the next thing he does is have a glass of water. After that, he goes for a short walk, trying to get as much sunlight as he can.
As I get out of bed and I go outside, because it turns out, especially on cloudy days, you want to get outside and get as much light energy or photons in your eyes. I do not need to stare directly into the sun. It's absolutely fine to blink. This is grounded in the core of our physiology. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of quality peer-reviewed papers showing that light viewing early in the day is the most powerful stimulus for wakefulness throughout the day, and it has a powerful positive impact on your ability to fall and stay asleep at night.
Then he does a bit of yoga, which I definitely need to do. Then he has a cold shower. If you haven't done cold showers, I really recommend it. I did it for a month, every single day, and I should get back into it. It's so good for A, your productivity, but B, your dopamine levels.
Dopamine levels started to rise somewhat slowly and then continued to rise and reach levels as high as 2.5 times above baseline. In this case, it wasn't a rise and crash. It was actually a sustained rise in dopamine that took a very long time, up to 3 hours, to come back down to baseline. Using deliberate cold exposure means that it is a very reliable stimulus to systematically build up what we call resilience. When we experience a stressor in life, that stress is the consequence of increases in norepinephrine and epinephrine in our brain and body. Very similar, if not identical, to the kinds of increases that come from deliberate cold exposure. So deliberate cold exposure is an opportunity to deliberately stress our body. We can learn to maintain calm while our body is in a state of stress.
And he waits about 90 minutes to have a coffee, so he might have a coffee at 7:30 or 8 or whatever it is. The main thing that I admire Andrew Huberman for is everything he's doing is science-backed. It's not opinions. So he's not doing this stuff because in his opinion it works. He's doing this because science says, yes, this works. If you have bad routines or just not the ideal routine, I recommend downloading this. It's completely free. Also, go over and listen to every single episode by Andrew Huberman. His podcast is amazing. He's a genius, and it's just amazing. But I'm sure you're already a fan if you're watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next week.